Welcome back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
And neither of us are Kaylee. Hi, Kaylee.
Hi.
But we're joined by Kaylee.
Indeed. For more fun times and shenanigans. And today we are on the couch because that's what sounded good. And who suggested it to us?
Crystal.
Crystal. Yes. Thank you, Crystal. We're excited to be back on the couch. If you have been around for a while, you might recognize said couch. We're back.
It's making a cameo again.
Right? With all the stuffies and everything. Yeah. Good stuff,
Even
man.
though there's so many more.
I know. They're all on the floor. They've been evicted from their home. It's great. If this is your first time joining us, this is our sibling duo podcast about life with chronic and invisible conditions. Where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us on Spotify, Audible, almost maybe Apple.
Perhaps.
We're so close to Apple. YouTube if you want to watch us. TikTok if you want to laugh.
Yes.
And Discord to join in and have conversations with us.
Yes. There's also YouTube Shorts now that have been
yes.
added, and those are pretty funny. So go check those out if you have, if you are so inclined.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to do kind of a refresher on coping skills and bad days and what it looks like to actually listen to your body's needs and your emotional needs and respond with kindness instead of judgment. So all of those coping skills and self-care skills.
We needed it.
Yes, we needed a couch day. So today is our comfy, lazy day.
It seemed like it was a communal need.
Yes.
We did the lives and people were not having a great time.
No.
And every time I've talked to people, they've not been having a great time.
It's been a rough couple weeks. It's been a rough couple years, but you know.
It's been a rough life.
Yeah.
And yet we're still here.
Still at
Dang
it.
Yes. Moving forward, this does have some like dark humor to it. That is how we survive. So please don't be offended. And if you are offended by such things, this may not be the show for you.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you give it a shot.
Yeah.
You never know.
We also have a website and a Discord, so you can check those out. Fantasticpains.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll have links to most of our stuff. We're still working on getting it updated a little bit. We're new to this whole thing, so it's taking us a minute to get situated. But once we are, it'll be great. And you'll have the shop open and be able to send us coffee money on our PayPal.
Yeah. And better merch. So
Yes.
we're getting
Much
there.
better merch. It'll be great.
But first,
It is time for the weekly recap.
check in.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a week. It was a really weird week. We shot on Monday.
Well, we shot. I thought we shot almost every day last weekend until Monday, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did.
We did our live Friday.
Yeah.
We did our live Monday and then tried to shoot.
Sunday. Yeah. On Sunday, we did a live. We're going to record. And then we
Yes.
recorded on Monday.
Saturday.
Because Monday was
I
Martin Luther
sick?
King. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because I was sick last week. That was
you
fun.
had your trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was great. I love anytime I get to like heave. I hate it so much. Oh
Mhm.
God. But yeah, it's just been a weird week. So we shot on Monday and got that done and up, and I hope you like it. It's a really good one. We had a lot of fun shooting it. So
Yeah. It was really goofy.
fingers crossed that you enjoyed that one.
It'll be one that we like, but no one else will like it.
right.
And then, the next one we produce that we hate, everyone will be like, that was the
all
best.
the time. It's so weird.
You
They're
know
like,
that one
this
where
is
you're like,
amazing.
you
And we're
didn't
like,
get to a
"No,
point
we
and
hated this."
you didn't help and there was it wasn't even funny.
You just
We want
spoke
more of
words
that.
into the ether.
More of that, please.
It was
Like,
fun.
okay, guys.
Stream of consciousness.
Yes. There's
That's
a
us.
lot of that.
Yeah.
What else happened this week? We had a snow day on Wednesday.
You finally got your snow day.
Yeah. Thank God. Because I was mad. I was like, if we don't have a snow day, I'm going to riot.
Yeah.
All by myself. I'm a riot.
You were saying it like
Loot
over all of
things.
the break
Yeah.
into the beginning of
Because
January.
I was mad because they had like 3 snow days
Yep.
when we were on break. And I was like, I'm never going to get a snow day. I want to not have to go to work when I'm supposed to go to work.
But you got it.
I did. I did get it. And this week wasn't a bad week. It was just a lot, and it never
Yeah.
slowed down. And then there was a lot of like icky pain involved. Like I had a few just bad episodes of what I think now are hiatal hernia attacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was
So-
feeling it too. There were like 2 long ones that were like hours long.
Yeah.
And they were really sharp and intense.
Yeah. Well, I had one where like my heart rate was affected, and those are the ones that like this is when this started way back when they thought it was my heart. Because first they were like panic attacks. Next they were like heart because I had a abnormal Q wave.
Yeah.
And they had no idea why that was happening. But apparently the hiatal hernia attacks can look so much like heart attacks and with symptoms and everything that they can fool physicians. So there was a lot of that and like just awful, not fun, horrible pain.
Yeah.
Did not have a good time.
Lots of not sleeping.
Yeah.
And then being too fatigued to do anything.
Exactly.
Not tired, fatigued.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
my so my ceiling's been leaking for a while because there's water leaking into my attic and it has like rotted away a big chunk of drywall, and that fell into the kitchen, and that was really fun. And so Friday I did not go to work and I dealt with that all day, and by the end of it I was like, I am so tired of talking to this man. Like, he's super nice, very kind human, but like, Jesus, man, I'm done talking to you. Get out of my house. Thank you. Bye.
Well, like spoons with people,
Yeah.
hard. Spoons with strange people, harder.
Well, and it was like
Spoons with strangers who want to sell you things, impossible.
hours and
Yeah.
hours and hours of this. And then like an hour in between having them running back and forth. And it was a mess.
Yeah.
So at the end, we decided we're not replacing the swamp cooler, but now we have to call roofers to come get it and patch the roof.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
Ugh. Yeah, my mom has to deal with that. Anytime it rains or snows.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
And our problem is like anytime it starts to like melt and evaporate,
Yeah.
bad things happen. Fun. I
I like the same week. Just without the drama, really. I mean, I kept like the kids were really cuddly this week.
Yeah.
And I was in a don't touch me mood, which is really hard when I don't want to be mean. I'm like, sorry guys, but it like touching you will make me like
go away.
panic. Touching my skin right now is not a good sensation.
Yeah.
And they're understanding. I just feel bad because there are days when they're just really like cuddly and they want that, they need that, you know?
Right. Because you want to meet their needs, but you want to meet your needs at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Lots
bad.
of fatigue.
Just
Lots of pots.
yeah, and then like I was saying yesterday in the live, lots of like underlying depression for no reason.
Yeah.
Anytime I was idle, it was just depressed.
Yeah.
Until I was doing something. And then everything was fine. It's weird. I'm on like a weird manic shift because like I didn't sleep last night
Yeah.
and I am not tired. I'm wide
You're
awake
hitting
and
the
like
high now after the low.
yeah, I don't know. My meds are working. It's just probably like seasonal affective adding other
Right.
things.
Well, and I think like the constant back and forth with the weather is not doing us any favors.
Oh no.
It's
Yeah, we had
just
that
like
snowstorm.
huge yo-yoing effect that is happening.
Yeah.
And then I thought there was something else that happened this week, but I can't remember what it was. If I remember, we'll come back to it.
No. We missed the gym.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we didn't make it to the gym. Because, yeah, Wednesday we were snowed in. Thursday, I was just exhausted. And there was a lot going on with like family stuff.
Yeah.
So I wound up taking care of that Thursday night. And then that's when we normally would have gone. And then Friday I was like, maybe we can go in between me running around. And then no. But I did clean like a maniac.
Yeah. No, and I was active. I almost thought about breaking the treadmill out at one point.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, I think I can count yesterday because that was a
Oh,
lot
for
of
you,
running
for sure,
around
yeah.
and doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Other than that, it was a
Been
week.
Yeah.
The lives were good.
Yes.
Thank you for joining, everyone.
Yes. They're so much fun. I love getting to talk to everybody.
Yeah, and if you guys want to know what they're like, we keep them up so you can watch them. They're pretty chillax, and we just
Yes.
talk about whatever.
Yeah. Well, and now the chat has unionized and revolted.
Thanks, Crystal. You've started a push, and now everyone wants the uncut versions of everything.
Yeah. So
Craig even
the
voted
answer
twice.
is maybe. I know that was funny. If you're interested in the lives, you can participate by joining our Discord. We do lives Friday evenings Mountain Time, and then Saturday mornings Mountain Time.
Yeah, we're in the Midwest.
Yes.
And so are a lot of the people that follow us.
Yeah.
So the
or across the sea.
Yeah, across the pond.
Which is why we added that Saturday live to get with our people from Europe.
And it's working.
Yes. So fun.
But yeah, on to mental health.
Well, how about Kaylee? Do you want to do a recap of your week?
It doesn't have to be a weekly. It could be like
Just a general recap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a lot. It's just been a lot.
It's a lot. I think that counts.
Yeah. No,
Like-
that's fair. That is a state of being,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I started the process to like have TMS treatment,
Oh, really?
but like I had an appointment for that like at the beginning of the month, and I just heard back like 2 days ago that my insurance approved it. Like I've had phone
nice.
calls every week this month.
And what is TMS?
Transcranial magnetic stimulation, where they just like stick a magnet on your brain and stimulate the part of your brain that they think is responsible for depression. Like when
cool.
it's
Okay.
underactive, it causes depression. So stimulating it is supposed to help, and it works for like 85% of people.
Nice.
And they usually only do it for people who have like tried 3 or 4 different antidepressants
Mhm.
and not had like success with it. Because I guess by the time you're on your 4th antidepressant, if you're still not seeing any results, there's only like a 7% chance that the next antidepressant will do anything
Wow.
for you. So at
Right.
that point, if you hadn't had any luck with the first 4, then you need to try something else.
And at that point, it's considered like intractable, right?
I think so.
Oh, man.
So that's where I'm at. I've had 3 different antidepressants, and like they work in that I am more functional than I was before, but like the depression is still there.
Yeah.
Like I still have like symptoms besides just, oh, I'm sad. I still
Yeah.
have like the exhaustion and all that good stuff. But like this past weekend, right before I did like the psych evaluation for the TMS, I got blood work results back that said that I have an underactive thyroid, which could be like a root cause for my depression.
I was
So,
gonna
like,
say, yeah.
That made a
Like-
huge difference for me.
yeah, my doctor wants to wait 6 weeks and then I guess do more blood work and see if it's like still low
Mm-hmm.
and then treat it. But like I've already started the whole process with the TMS,
Yeah.
and even after insurance, that'll cost like $900. So like I'm at a point where I'm like, do I proceed with the TMS
Right.
since like I've already got the ball rolling on that, or do I wait and wait 6 weeks and talk to my doctor about the thyroid and see if treating that fixes things?
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then go back and try TMS.
Mm-hmm. Does the TMS work like exercise kind of thing, where like you do it and over time you get that part of the brain to be more active?
I think so. The guy that I was talking to on the phone on like Monday or Tuesday about it, he said that I don't remember the exact numbers, but most people will just like go into complete remission of
Wow.
their depression, and like only a small percentage have to come back for another series of treatment later.
How many
Like-
treatments are in the?
So you have to go
Each
in
block.
Oh no.
for 5 days a week
Wow.
for 6 weeks, and then another 3 weeks they taper off.
That's
Dang.
intense.
So it's
So they get it active,
involved,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
you have to titrate basically off of it.
Wow.
Dang. That's really interesting though.
Yeah. That's cool. Have you ever thought about like, or would you think about what do they even call it when you do? It's not ketamine. You know what I mean? Like when they do psychedelic.
Oh, the microdosing?
I have microdosed. It worked okay, but it
Not even
wasn't-
that, like the psychedelic reprocessing, where you work with a therapist
Oh,
and
wow.
a set dose that you get, and
Yeah,
you take
yeah.
it and you do a therapy session.
I haven't tried that. No.
More and more people are like training in it, so it's just fascinating and interesting.
I might talk to my therapist about it. She did suggest ketamine though. She wants me to do TMS and ketamine like together, like do the TMS and then do ketamine treatment.
Nice.
But the ketamine treatment's not covered by insurance.
Oh.
So
Just
and it would be like over $1,000 for
Yeah.
the whole series of treatments.
yeah.
Because that one you have to go, I think, weekly, once a week, for 6 weeks,
Damn.
and it's like $300 or $400 a treatment.
Jesus.
Yeah.
My God. When we were looking for my husband, there was a kind of like psychedelic treatment that they were offering. It's like I think it's like LSD, but I can't remember, so don't quote me on it. But it was going to be like $1,200 for the whole thing, I think.
God.
And it was like 6 weeks of doing like twice a week therapy or something with the stuff, and they like send it with you, and then you take it with a safe person at home,
Yeah.
and then you sit at the computer and do your therapy session while you're tripping. Yeah.
With the ketamine sessions that I was looking at, you go in and they just hook you up and do like a ketamine drip for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And you have to have someone with you to drive you home.
Yeah.
Then I've also had a friend who was involved in like psilocybin trials.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they just have you do a supervised trip.
Yeah.
And basically, I think it was like what you're saying. I don't know if he did therapy while he was tripping.
Right.
I don't remember exactly.
There's
what he
supposed to be
said.
like a couple different ways to do it. Like there's different things now that there's so many options that are
Mhm.
being
Mhm.
like accepted and considered. It's just interesting because we don't have a lot of data on those things. We have the ideas of them.
Right.
And we're like, this is fascinating, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah, or like with like the psychedelics, it's like a lot of that stuff is illegal.
Yeah.
In a lot of places, so it's
Mhm.
hard to get like the medical trials going.
Right.
So there's just no data for that stuff for that reason.
Yeah. It'll be so interesting when it like actually, because it's decriminalized now,
Yeah.
but when it's actually like legalized and put out like marijuana, I think it'll be really fascinating to see what studies can come from it.
Yeah.
There just haven't been any because it's bad, taboo, no,
Well, and it's
Bad.
expensive,
bad.
right? It's like even to do any of it, like trials, you still have to pay for incredible treatment.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
approved for incredible.
Oh yeah,
treatment,
yeah.
like-
If you're the patient, God forbid,
Like-
it is very expensive to be their guinea pig. Like, why do I have to pay you for you to use my body to inform your work?
Mhm.
No. Other way around. Or let's do it for free. Call it a day. No. That's crazy.
Isn't it weird how like it's not considered critical care? Like any of the mental health aspects of
No,
anything. It's
None
just
of it.
meh.
I feel like that's changing,
Yeah.
but like it sucks.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think
Being-
it's
Being
changed.
depressed is expensive.
Well, and it's not changed enough in policy. Like the idea about it, like the way we think about it
Mhm.
is changing and evolving. And I think it's evolving more in the public than it is in policy, which is where we run into that problem
Yeah.
where
The less,
we're like,
the
why
less
are you
stigma
not?
there is around it socially, the more they'll have to like look at that and
Yes.
change policy to reflect that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a process.
Yeah.
Long one.
Man, I never would have thought about getting treated for any of the stuff. Like, it's weird to think that I was just untreated forever and that I functioned at all.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that we
Like,
survived. Yeah.
that's just bizarre compared to like, thank God I have some insurance to cover it. Because I have to like the amount I spend on my meds a month
Oh my
would
God,
be
yeah.
a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even with insurance, there are times
Mhm.
where
I
I'm
had to
picking up
pick
so
my
many.
meds this week. It was like $40 for like my 2 antidepressants and my anxiety meds.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just one of my antidepressants and my anxiety meds.
Jesus.
Weird question, but does anyone else get anxious when they go pick up their meds?
A little.
Because I always do. I almost have like full on like panic attacks about it.
Oh no.
I don't get that anxious. I'm sorry. That is your experience.
It's because I just have bad experiences with pharmacies.
Yes.
So every time I need something filled, it's a battle.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm a brat because I have Kaiser,
Right.
and Kaiser's pharmacies are Kaiser pharmacies, and so there's no like,
Yeah.
oh, we can't
Yeah.
fill this, or like double check it, or like there are
There's-
some
yeah.
things where they're like, oh, we have to call your physician and have them sign off on it again.
Mhm.
but
but-
it's all in the same.
Exactly. It's all in
Right.
the same system. So I'm lucky as all hell there because I can't imagine trying to fight with so many people all the
Oh my
time.
God, yeah.
And then having pharmacies be like, well, he's drug seeking, so we're gonna lock you out of all these different pharmacies,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to block your care because we've decided as pharmacists that you don't need that drug. And you're like, hi, you're not a doctor, actually.
No, but the doctors don't know any better.
My doctor said that that it's fine. and
I mean,
can
that's
take
happened to
this
me so many
medication.
times.
It's ridiculous.
It's wild that happens.
Yeah.
I always just feel like it's another way for people to exercise their like power or
Yeah.
like their need for power. And then they're like, I'm going to enforce my ideals on this random stranger.
Yeah.
Why?
Or just having a
Stop
bad
it.
day and they need to like take it out on people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't imagine though, like messing with somebody's life.
Oh. No, well, I don't think they think of it that way.
No.
You know.
But I think part of it is like that they're partially responsible for the
Yeah,
meds
yeah.
that they distribute.
Yeah.
So like some of that stuff they're like more hesitant to fill those prescriptions, but it shouldn't be up to them.
Right. Yeah, no, especially with like things like Adderall right now,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, well, I'm not going to fill for that guy, but I'm going to fill for that lady over there because there's
Yeah.
some difference, or
Yeah. I'm
they'd like get to pick and choose now.
I'm waiting for my Concerta again.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
I was supposed
course.
to get it yesterday. They said it was filled. Went in, it wasn't filled.
There's no reason that it should be a shortage.
Right.
There just really isn't.
It's a pain. But on the flip side, it's a good time to practice like
Yeah.
coping skills.
It's true.
I mean, like we had a rough week. I don't know how I made it, honestly. I
know.
remember using good skills and bad skills.
all the maladaptive coping.
Dude, I was
Whoop,
all about it. I
whoop.
was like, can I do it? I'll do anything to make this stop for now.
Yeah.
I'll try the healthy stuff and then I'll just get desperate. And that's what I did.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's hard though. Like when you're in the thick of it to remember and be like, "Oh wait, I know how to cope.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to like count my breaths a little bit," when you're like, "I would like to cut off my limbs because it hurts."
Completely.
Yeah.
They're not compatible mind spaces unless you've been practicing enough.
Yeah.
And then when you're feeling good, you feel like you don't have to practice anymore. And then you stop practicing. And it's
a
like
cycle.
use it or lose it,
Yeah.
basically, with coping skills.
I had a situation recently. Like one of my things that I do for anxiety is I'll put my feet up, like against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It helps a lot with like the physical anxiety symptoms in particular.
Yeah.
But like I woke up like having a panic attack.
Oh, I hate that.
And I just like was curled up in the fetal position, and I was like, it would really help if I put my feet up, but I just can't get myself to
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
uncurl
Uh-huh.
and do that. It's like sometimes you have the coping skills and you just can't access them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the hard part, especially like when it comes to something like that, where you're like, physically, if I did something different, I could have some relief. But if you're like in a safe position ish,
Like, I just can't.
you can't curl.
Yeah.
I get that. Like when these start kicking up, when I have those spasms that run into my groin, the only thing I can do is curl. And I know that like and sometimes it happens in the middle of the hallway at work and I'm like, I have to get away from children, but I physically can't uncurl enough to move my body.
Mm-hmm.
And you just can't. You're like, I need to. I want to, but I cannot.
Yeah.
The body rebels. The brain and the body rebel.
So
all
what's
together.
the skill that we're lacking there then? How to cope when uncopable?
Wait.
We get more different.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Well, and I think that's a big one too, is patience.
I've never been patient.
Yeah, no.
I have bipolar. Patience does not exist in my
No.
realm.
It's that like now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that like patience piece that's really difficult.
Yeah. Like I do it all the time. Like we'll check in with each other and we're like, I'm waiting for different. Like any minute now, different.
Right. And sometimes it's not minutes. Sometimes it's hours, and sometimes it's days, and sometimes it's weeks, and sometimes it's seasons.
Usually it's
because that happens. Ugh, like all of winter, bad. Don't like it. Kind of terrible. Don't recommend. But yeah, that patience piece is huge, and just being able to be like, I'm gonna wait this out, and I am better about that one. Just because, like, I'm either like suffer or treat it, and I wait until it's unbearable before I treat it.
Yeah.
Usually, I'm getting better at like preempting things. But yeah, it's hard to be patient when you're like you're waiting for either am I going to give up and give in and like opt out, medicate away, or am I going to win and it's going to stop?
Right.
Because that's the other thing. Like when we first were starting like the medication side of things, especially with like pain, that was a precious commodity.
Yeah.
And you didn't use it unless it was absolutely the worst.
Exactly.
And then you would play the game of like, okay, this is horrible, but it could be worse later.
Right.
And then I might be out because I took some now. And then I just suffer until I'm like, is this the worst? Is it the worst yet?
Yeah. When does it get worst?
When can I treat this
Am I at
without
max
feeling
worst?
bad?
Is this the worst?
I have to check. Hey, am I having the worst right now?
Right?
No? Oh,
Could
okay.
it be worse?
And that's when my husband started calling me the heroin dragon.
Yeah.
Because I would have meds and then I would be crying on the floor and still not using them.
Right.
And he'd be like, oh my God, take your meds. What are you doing?
Yeah, I've been yelled at for that.
Yeah.
It's not a good feel.
No.
Especially when you're supposed to keep ahead of the pain in general.
Right. I don't do that.
No. Could you
No,
imagine?
you just suffer until it's bad enough to opt out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Also, I'm not talking to you. That's not for you.
We're supposed to be discussing healthy options.
Yes.
Now that we've gotten maladaptive coping out of the way.
We got plenty of that.
So what does positive coping look like?
Positive coping.
I was like, are you being smart right now? What are you doing?
No, I had to think about it because I have like grounding. And if I can ground through it, I'm fine. If I can't, then it's just a waiting game.
Yeah.
I don't have any really good skills for the in between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't work for me as well.
I found that like recognizing where I'm at makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, identification.
So like if I'm
huge.
feeling anxious and I can be like, okay, I'm feeling really anxious right now.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, my anxiety is causing these physical symptoms. What can I do to mitigate these physical symptoms and feel in the body like I'm okay so I can mentally deal with the anxiety?
Mm-hmm. I do that with Jen all the time, which
Yeah.
throws her off because she's like, how do I fix it? And I'm like, I don't need you to fix it.
No,
I have
just
stated.
need to put it out into the universe.
Yeah. I have said it out loud. Now you know that it's a thing that's going on with me.
Yeah.
And then we just move forward.
Right.
Like now I understand it.
Well, it's interesting because like saying things out loud, even if it's not, there's no purpose necessarily behind it, it cements things as real,
Mhm.
right? So you could be thinking like, "Oh, I'm anxious right now," but that's not. You're not cementing that.
Yeah, it's something about you hearing yourself say it too.
Yeah,
I
and
love
being
that.
like, "I'm feeling really anxious," and then you know, like, I know what I can do to kind of mitigate that.
My favorite is when I go, I'm anxious, and then Jen will turn around and be like, "You've been anxious for 3 hours." I'm like, I have been. You're right.
Now
And
that you
she's like,
mention it.
and then she'll identify what it is exactly,
Oh, that's funny.
and I'm like, oh, okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah, for us, it's a lot about like understanding.
Mhm.
And if we can understand, then we feel safer and more settled.
It doesn't spiral
Yeah.
because we used to just go out of control.
Right. Well, because we didn't know what was going on and we thought we were crazy and it wasn't real to begin with. But god dang it, this feels real.
Which made us isolate and then
Yes.
made everything's worse. And yeah,
Well, because if no one believes you, or you feel like
I
no
was
one
gonna
will
say,
believe
when you believe that nobody believes
yes.
you, because that's how the brain do sometimes.
Yes. Because, trauma. It's a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
It's like Jen had some RP drama a while ago, and it was really weird to me because I've hung out with this girl maybe like 3 times just online, but she's really straightforward, and like she handles things. She has like a trauma brain, so like
Oh, okay.
when things got hairy, she was like, "Here's my opinion. I don't want to say anything else," and then
Mm.
dipped from the conversation. Everyone else thought she was saying, "This is my opinion and it's final, and you have to bend to my will." And I was like, no, clearly she just wanted to say that's how she feels. You can guys do whatever you want with it.
Do whatever you want with it. I'm a walk away.
But
so
it was
then
like
my feelings
days
are
of people trying to digest this. They didn't understand it. And I was like, it just seems so clear to me.
hurt. Yeah.
Trauma brain.
Well, we're good at understanding ourselves and therefore other people.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm good at the job that I do. So
What is your job? You've never said.
I'm a special education teacher, but I work with kids with incredibly high trauma and often behavioral and emotional issues.
People.
That is my favorite thing.
You work with people.
I work with people
And they turn into great people.
most of the time.
Except for that one time. But I'm not
We don't
perfect.
talk
so.
about
It was
that.
me.
I like how we
kidding.
all do. I'm like, nah,
We're
I'm a monster.
everybody. But I don't know. Like anxiety too is a different one because for me, anxiety is not as bad and has never really been as bad.
I had a weird thing where like anxiety wasn't even on the table ever. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't anxious, but then as I started to like uncover things, my anxiety would grow, and I became an anxious person.
Interesting.
Like for a while, and then like, it was weird because like it was, I guess, the more I worked on my mental health,
Yeah.
the more my anxiety went up. And it wasn't that I'm more
That
aware
does
of it,
make
but like
sense though. Like it does happen when you work on trauma and healing.
mhm.
Sometimes you have to get better or you have to
You
get
get
worse
worse to get
before you
better.
get better.
I definitely had that arc.
Yeah, and
Like-
it can cause an uptick in physical symptoms as
Mhm.
well.
It's kind of like poking at a wound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to excise it, and then it's gonna hurt, and then you have to clear the infection, and then it's gonna be swollen.
What part is the part where you take pictures and post them online?
Every part.
Oh, that's what this is.
That's when you go on Discord and tell
Yes.
people that you're mentally ill.
I'm gonna do that right now. Like, excuse me, everybody, I'm mentally ill.
Attention, attention, I am depressed.
They'll be like, Chris, shut up. You're always depressed. Like, oh,
Yes,
Uh-oh.
but particularly now.
this week, man. I don't know. It was like I had a weird manic low in the background, and then I hit a manic high like really hard.
Mm.
But yeah, no, my life is a decision tree.
Mhm.
Because with anxiety, I'm like, can I do anything about it? Yes, no. If there's no, I generally like spend some time thinking about the possible outcomes, but then I've logged them. I'm ready for whichever one,
Yeah.
and then I put it away because there's nothing else I can do with it, and then it's just an energy suck.
I mean, I got there. what's annoying to me is that I was there, and then I was like, let's dig through trauma. And then trauma was like, intrusive. Now you're going to have a full-on, like, full-body hallucination about reliving that moment.
Mm-mm.
And then that became where, like, the anxiety came from, where you start to feel that feeling, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I had to desensitize myself to it again.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because
But
I
I
guess
mean, no, go for it.
when I did have, like, so I had PTSD around the car accident
Mhm.
that I was in when I was in high school. And there was a lot of, like, driving anxiety. Because every time I could see an accident happening, because again, like, thinking ahead and brain just does what it does. Every time I could see an accident happening or foresee an accident happening, I was literally just going into flashbacks.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, all the time. And I was like, I can't live in flashbacks. This is awful. And so, yeah, driving made me extremely anxious for a very long time.
No, we do it.
Yeah. But I've never had, like, general anxiety.
Right.
I was labeled with generalized anxiety, but I don't think I was ever, like, generally anxious.
No, you weren't, though. That's the thing.
If I was anxious, there was, like, a reason or it was specific.
Yeah.
My ex was in a car accident and, like, had driving trauma and anxiety to the point where he just, like, wouldn't drive anymore. To the point where I broke my ankle and
Oh my God.
I needed to go to the hospital. And he's like, yeah, but it's your left ankle, so you can drive.
No.
He went with me, but he wouldn't drive me.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Yeah. So if you're at that point, that's
Get
like
some
you should
help.
be getting therapy
Yeah.
and not like making your girlfriend drive herself to the hospital with a broken ankle.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not, no.
That's when you're making your problems into other people's
Yes.
problems, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then at that level, it's very clearly affecting your functioning. And if it's clearly affecting your functioning, that is a good sign to go get that, like, looked at, worked on. Like, go get some help. If it is impacting your daily functioning, get some help. It's okay. I almost said, be a man. Get some help.
Get some help.
Because those TikToks crack me up.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know. What's anxiety like for you now?
I don't have any, really.
That's good.
Like, even when, like, I have the like, depression and stuff come in,
Yeah.
there's not real any anxiety to it, unless the only thing that comes near it is the physical symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, like, when you feel like, if you're having that, like, heart feeling,
Yeah.
you have, like, the hiatal hernia feeling
Yeah.
can kind of be an anxious moment, but
Yes.
that's purely physical.
Right.
It's not out of my control because I understand what's happening.
And that was so frustrating to deal with before I knew what was going on, because they would tell me it was a panic attack. And so I was like, fine, if it's a panic attack, we're going to remember that right off the bat, that if this is a panic attack, then I should be able to stop panicking or prevent the panicking or head off the panicking. And then I got to a point where I could ground through the entire episode,
Yeah,
but the physical symptoms persisted.
exactly.
And then I was like, clearly this is not just a panic attack. Like, what? What? And that's when they were like, heart. And now we're like,
That's the same route I went.
guts. Because it feels like heart. Feels very much like a heart attack.
Well, it's like what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Finding the right diagnosis.
Yes.
Down the line, you'll figure it out eventually if you just keep looking. And having different, more
Just try
exuberant
on
experiences.
different hats forever. and
The
see
heart
what
attack
happens.
didn't get it. Let's try a different thing. Let's do chest pressure. Oh, that's not working. Let's add in some numbness and tingling. They still haven't figured this out. This is really bizarre. I'm like throwing everything at them and they're just not getting it.
No. Jaw pain, got it. Left arm pain, got it.
Ear stabbies?
Oh, ear stabbies. I don't like the ear stabbies.
Yeah.
Your body was like, no, make the neck pop.
Yeah, no. we're
Do
not
it.
living that
Do
life.
it now.
It was interesting what we were talking about earlier with I think it was Krieg, when we were talking about noticing the physical surroundings changing before you notice you're depressed.
Yeah, that was super interesting. So Krieg was talking about knowing that there's a depression, like the increase in depression symptoms based on the status of the house.
Yeah.
And like she knows that she's depressed if she's not picking up the clothes or not putting things away or like all of these different things. So I was like, that's a really interesting way of kind of marking that change.
Yeah.
And I think it would work really well for people who are generally well organized and function well, but
that wouldn't work for me.
It would not work for me either because
if that was how it worked, like I would have never not been depressed.
Oh, it totally works for me.
From when I was born.
It does not work for me.
It's messy.
Dumpster fire all day long, forever.
I guess I've been feeling better lately because I want to I want to refix that office nook upstairs.
Yeah.
But it's been engulfed in all of the Christmas explosion.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now I need to like clean it all off and then move things. And
feeling better or feeling manic?
Better, not manic.
Because I do know that you like to organize and rearrange.
That would, if I were manic, I would be moving.
You would have done it already.
Okay.
The bed would go into Jen's corner.
Like we should build a loft for the bed.
We really
That's
should.
That's what I said. Remember, if we're gonna put the loft up there,
it really needs one.
Oh, it'd be great.
Loft everything. Why isn't everything
Bunk
lofted?
beds.
If you have vaulted ceilings, that's so much. You could have all that.
It's an invitation.
I know.
I want vaulted ceilings so that I can build beds just into the walls at random, like Minecraft. Sorry.
We bought a condo.
Yeah.
And it is like a studio, and they like they have high ceilings, so they like vaulted their bed.
That's
so, like,
amazing.
Their desk underneath it.
Hell
but
yeah.
Part of the thing is it's like low income housing, and it came with a Murphy bed, and they're not allowed to remove it because it still has to be there when they like sell the place.
Yeah.
Even though they own it.
Why?
Because like the low income housing thing, there's like more
requirements
and stuff.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like have this Murphy bed there up stored, and then put their bed like in front of it. So it's like just like a loss of like a foot and a half of space in their living area.
That's so weird.
Will never be seen.
Right.
That's so weird because okay, I can get like, and I don't even know if this is why they do it. I have no idea. But I can get like, oh, the new person moving in doesn't have money to buy a bed. I could get that and having the Murphy bed, but
having
like
a small amount of space. But that takes like, you have to be willing to like pack up your bed back into the closet, and like then you don't really have room for other furniture,
right?
Because you'd have to move the furniture out of the way to put the bed down. So like,
well,
at
and
that
I'm
point,
sorry,
why bother?
Is there a safe Murphy bed out on the market today?
I think so. I hope the
ones that are designed like counterweights and stuff.
It'd be great to be in a Murphy bed and just get flipped up into the wall.
Yeah.
Put me away.
Deep pressure therapy. Oh my god. But yeah, no, that wouldn't work for me. But I think it's a great idea. Like noticing your depression as it manifests in your physical surroundings.
Yeah. It's a tool I use.
I do not, because I literally am just a tornado 24/7.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's okay.
I am a mess.
If I enter a room with something in my hand, I put it down on the first flat surface that I see, and then I forget I've done it, and I never find the thing again.
I started doing the like, don't put it down, put it away, but then I forgot about that.
Right.
I do it
and
for
then
like
I stopped
3
using
days.
it. Yeah, exactly.
And then I go back to old habits.
Because I have crazy, super bad ADHD. And I'm like learning year by year how bad my ADHD actually is and how impactful it is. Like, I can't stick with any system. Like, that right there should have been a kicker.
Yeah.
For understanding ADHD, but like there is no system that works because I can't stick with a system. And then I forget the system exists, and then if things are not in my eye line, I don't remember where they are or if they existed in the first place.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
I think I notice my depression more in like my social relationships and how I'm feeling about them.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm feeling like everybody hates me, I'm probably pretty depressed.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't get that anymore. It's weird. I used to have it really bad. Like, just assuming everything that was ever thought about me was a negative.
Did you
Yeah.
think that I hated you?
No.
Except when we first met.
I was gonna say
Except for when we first met. I was pretty positive that you hated me.
Point.
No. I never doubted that for a second. If anything, I would be worried that I was annoying or bothering you.
Never.
You know?
I don't have enough of you in my life.
It's because we live too
Just
close together.
FYI.
I need to move
Aw.
back to Fort Collins.
Or I'll move to Longmont.
Okay. And then we'll just have to do game night up in Longmont.
Okay.
it's a deal.
Perfect.
That's what we used to do.
Who's moving?
Well, yeah, because like when you were like in North Glen,
Yeah.
I just came up and picked you up every week and then took you back home.
Yep. With Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, I don't have those intrusive thoughts in that way anymore.
That sounds nice.
It's weird though, because I lived so long with the opposite. Like I couldn't imagine not having them, and now I have a hard time imagining that feeling again.
Yeah.
Like I
You're
don't know.
growing.
I know, and I don't know how to
It's
feel
so
about it.
weird, isn't
I
it
hate it.
bizarre?
I hate every bit of it.
It's just weird. It's weird to be like mentally self-reflective.
The one thing
Yeah.
that's really annoying about being better is that you can, contradictory to what I just said, you remember what it feels like to be in the bad spots, so you can see it in other people.
Oh yeah.
and
Like
that
you can recognize it.
It's
very
heartbreaking
quickly.
that you can't just walk up to someone and be like,
I've been where you've been and
Ugh.
it gets better.
Yeah.
right, like
I promise there's a way to get better.
you just right, like be
Somewhere.
like, here's the one thing that'll fix you.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard too, because even when you're in close relationships with those people, a lot of the time you can only stand there and hope like you're just watching them play hot or colder with themselves.
Yeah,
And you're like, right there, but you
It's
can't
so
say
hard.
anything and you can't like lead them there. You just have to like throw tiny hints every once in a while and hope that they pick it up and like get there on their own.
yeah.
And then once they get there, you're like, yay, good job. We knew it the whole time. And they're like, well, why didn't you say anything? And you're like, because it doesn't work that way.
You weren't ready. You weren't.
You have to
there.
do the work. I'm
You
sorry.
didn't level up that far yet.
Yeah,
but
nobody-
You're there now.
Yeah.
Nobody can do the social emotional work for you, unfortunately.
They can try though. By God, they
Well,
can try.
and when you try, you burn yourself out real quick.
That's where I'm at. It's like I know I can't do this, but god damn it, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like I want to, but
Aw.
I want to. Did you break your nail? Did you
No.
bite your nail?
No, look at this thing ripped open.
Oh, I hate that.
Hangnail or whatever. Like all the way at my fingernail.
I had some of those, like, but they weren't hangnails. They were from I was filing my nail and I slit my finger open.
I cut my finger open crocheting.
Oh wow.
I
Speed
was
crocheting.
snipping
Oh,
the end
okay.
of the thread, and I guess I was resting the tip of my finger like against the
Oops.
tip of the scissors, and it was
Ooh.
just enough to like pinch in the end. So I just like, and it didn't bleed or anything, but it's like it looks like a really deep paper cut.
Yeah.
And it's like I
You're
guess
just
I'm
like I'm just
done
gonna
crocheting for tonight.
snip a little bit of my finger here. Just
That was yesterday.
Well,
let's see. What
I feel
other-
like there's one more aspect that I'm not remembering, and I'm trying to remember it.
Well, so more than just the depression, because there's a lot of factors too.
Mhm.
And I think that, again, if we're not being communicative and we're not addressing things as they are, we throw ourselves into this like forced masking. And then we feel misunderstood, unseen, unheard, and nobody cares to find out what's really going on.
Yeah.
Right. And then we implode and spiral.
Yes.
And that's a really big one because for us, when we're looking at people, we can tell
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. We're like, something is wrong.
Right.
Automatically, immediately, we know something is wrong. But then nobody seems to be able to do that.
That was
for-
a huge.
So you're like, am I too good at masking? Because I don't know how to undo that.
Mm-hmm.
Or does nobody actually care about me enough to like do anything?
Right.
Or do they just lack that kind of awareness?
Exactly. But you don't even learn that part until later. Like
No,
that
yeah, when you're
took
in
a
it.
while. It took so long to be like, oh, other people are emotionally stupid. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. They're just
Unfortunately,
social
a lot of
idiots.
This
people
is
are.
gonna sound really mean.
Hmm.
I'm not throwing shade at Jen, but she has now come to the realization that she can't read emotions very well. So she's being more explicit with the kids, letting them know that unless they tell her, she's not going to pick up on like the little social cues that
That's-
everyone else does.
That's good though.
Right? Like, so Sophie gets upset. She's like, you didn't do anything when I was crying. And she's like, I didn't know you were crying.
Oh.
You weren't like sobbing deeply into your sleeves. You were just going,
Right.
you know, like,
Your eyes were a little wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, did you
Exactly.
poke yourself in the eye? Like, you stared at a screen too long. I don't know.
but
Yeah.
but that's good too to teach the kids like to
Yeah.
exactly.
That
communicate
modeling
their feelings.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I'm
like-
just impressed with both sides because,
Yeah.
like, she's laying it out there. She's not embarrassed by it.
No.
And it makes them
And
understand each
Not
other better.
something to be embarrassed.
No,
by.
never.
Right.
Never, never, never. It's just, but that's the thing is like, we've all been crammed into this type A box for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And so many people are not type A people. And the type A box is pokey and small, and we don't really like it.
It's not accommodating.
It's not nice.
No.
So if you can't fit into the small pokey box, don't be ashamed. The box should be ashamed.
Shame on you, Box.
Shame
It
on
reminds me of, like,
you, box.
think about, like, your ideal bedroom and what you would put in it. And it
Okay.
says a lot about, like, what type of person you are. Like,
Interesting.
you know, an atypical family would have, like, a bed and a dresser and no TV in the bedroom, you know, like, because they watch it in the living room. But me,
Typical.
I'm like,
not an atypical.
I need a Nest. I
Yes.
need my computer. I need
want a
my
hammock.
consoles and my fucking snacks.
I don't want to leave my room unless I have to.
Yes.
Right.
I want everything to be there just in case I can't leave my room.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
My
that's the
bedpan.
box. That's
I
your
want-
box.
Yeah, I want there to be like a mini fridge and a sensory swing.
Dude, we need to get a sensory swing. I would be all about
I'm
it.
And a
thinking, like,
lofted
these things
bed.
all sound really nice, but like my kitchen's really not that far from my bedroom anyway. So I'm like, mini fridge would be great, but it's like 3 steps to my fridge. So
That's fair.
it's like, the mini
I
fridge
thought-
would only be like half as close.
When we were living in the Fundy house the first time, there was that fridge that was in the washing room, and I had the mini fridge right outside the door. So the mini fridge, and then 2 steps away was this downstairs fridge. Yeah, I've lived that life.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of people who are not good at reading social cues. And especially because that's the thing, when we are being expressive, especially after a long time of like masking, we think we're being really loud, right? Like
Yeah.
facially, expressively, we feel like we're being very clear in our communication. And that's not always the case. Sometimes it's more like a whisper from the outside and people miss it. And that's not their fault. It just is. That's the way it is. And then we forget that, hello, we have trauma, and trauma makes us extremely good at reading those micro expressions.
Mhm.
And so it is very easy for us to pick up on because that's how we survived. Was micro expressions and body language and preempting people's needs.
Yeah.
So don't be ashamed. And also, like, people aren't going to get it because they didn't have to learn it to survive.
Right.
And so we have to learn how to be more explicit when we
Isn't
need
that
something.
just a painful thought, though?
Right.
I hit that realization so many times in situations like, this person won't understand me.
Nope.
Because they can't.
Yes. Well, and I think learning that they can't and not that they won't
It's big.
was a huge distinction. And like, they cannot understand what they have not been through.
Mm-hmm.
The end. That's just the way it is. No matter how much they want to or how much they think they do, they don't have that comparison to draw. Like they can draw many comparisons with many things, but it's not going to invoke the same amount of like emotion, stress,
Right.
pain, frustration. Like all of those things are going to be shrunk down into this little like, well, that kind of sort of is a thing. Like, I'm sorry your baby died. I can I can relate. My dog once died. And you're like,
Yeah.
yes, but no.
Same with the physical aspects of like
Yes.
chronic illness. It's like, oh, my shoulder hurts. Yeah, my shoulder hurt last night.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yes, last night,
I ran into a door and my shoulder hurt a little bit.
right?
my favorite is I was talking to somebody that I knew in high school like years later, and I was having an off day. Like I was just like fail after fail after fail.
Oh,
Like I dislocated my shoulder. I could not get things right.
yeah.
And I said, is like, they were like, oh, how was your night? And I was like, well, let's see. Last night I dislocated my shoulder fully and had to reset it. And then I had to like, and they were like, oh yeah, no, I get that. I slept with my neck weird. And I was like, that's
I stubbed my
Yeah.
toe.
bro.
Well, and the other thing is like,
Bad.
Right.
how often do people ask questions about pain?
Yeah.
They don't, because socially, like they've been socialized that pain is something that you look away from, right? You don't
It's awkward.
explore that with other people. Like it's awkward, it's taboo, it's like we've talked about before, it's an intimate thing
Mhm.
to be with somebody in their pain. And it's an intimate thing to be vulnerable in your own pain. But it's like it's a fascinating thing, because how many people in your life you could probably count on one hand have ever asked you like, what does it feel like?
Right.
And that to me is just that thought takes the cake. But then on the other hand, one of my like favorite kiddos, my super traumatized
She doesn't play
one.
favorites. She
I
loves
love
every
them.
one
They're
of
just
you.
so darling.
You're
When she
all
says
unique
one of her
butterflies,
favorites,
but
she
you'll
means
never be
they're-
nearly
They're
as
all
good
my
as her
favorite.
favorite.
They're all
But
the
this one
favorites.
is
This one's better than you.
This is one
This
of
one
She
is-
will always be better than you.
That's
he's-
not what she's saying.
He is the best thing that's ever happened
No.
to schools in general. In fact, you should just give up now, because you'll never be as good as him.
Good pep
God.
But she doesn't have favorites. Don't
no
worry about it.
favorites, none. They're all my favorites. No, but he's my super socially, emotionally intelligent kid.
Yeah.
Like just brilliant. Absolutely too smart for school.
Mhm.
And he regularly is like, does it hurt like this or does it hurt like this? Or he's like, well, what does it feel like when that happens? And he's like, well, does it hurt every time when you do that? Or is it like different?
Yeah.
Like very inquisitive about it, and not ashamedly so. Like
no,
he's
that's
not.
those are the questions you want to get.
Yes.
Those are the ones where you're like, oh, it's like this. Like I can explain
it's
that to you.
so
To
weird.
have
Like I
someone try to
fixed.
understand you.
Yeah.
Like I fixed a joint in front of him once, and he like this last week.
Your
And he
kid
was just
acts like how I want my doctor to
Yeah.
treat me.
For real. And
Get
he
that kid
literally
into
he was like,
medicine.
does it hurt every time or is it different? Like, is it the same every time? Like, do you get used to it? And I was like, well, there's different ones. You have like, you relocate it and the snap hurts really bad. But then you have like the aftershocks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making the like the ooh, ah faces because he's like, oh no, I dislocated my knee once and I had to have that put back. And man, those like aftershocks were blah, blah, blah. Like, just so weird.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've had an adult in my life be like, what does it feel like?
Right.
What? Let's ask
It's
more of
not
those
true.
questions of one
I
each
asked you
other.
those questions all the time. When we were trying to figure it out. All
That's
the time
true.
I asked you those questions. But I'm not a regular adult, so.
She said you
No.
could count them on one hand. You're
Yeah.
obviously on.
I
that
count
hand.
as a person on a hand?
Yeah. 1 of 5.
Holy shit. I'm so not used to being a person.
Well,
No, that's
You
me.
are.
I don't get to be a person.
I get to be a person
you're
now.
both people.
Well, maybe together we're
I
a
was going to
person.
say, together we might be a people. A singular people.
With Kaylee's joints, your knowledge, and also I'm here, we could be a person.
Your charisma and likability.
I don't have any of that.
Shut up.
Okay.
I don't have any of the
Sure.
Riz, guys. Let's be serious.
Now here comes the revenge. Get in the comments and tell him how likable and wonderful he is and how much
tell
you
him how pretty
appreciate
his
him.
eyes are.
Yeah, tell him how pretty his eyes are
Try me.
and how gorgeous his edits are.
Do it.
And look at that
Just
smile.
Get in there. You can do it.
You can just
fine.
rewind like 30 seconds and you'll see it. He's hiding it now, but it was there.
I don't love any of you.
That's a lie.
You love all of us.
Fact. Oh,
Time for break.
I think this one we're gonna end early.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's a little longer than normal.
Okay.
But it just seems like a good point.
Yeah.
Barely talked about coping.
I know.
We never do get to like the original point.
Are you just done? You like fading?
Yeah, it just. I feel like
It's
it's
done.
time. Yeah.
It's done.
It
It's
is
time
done.
to end.
Plus, then we can send them to Discord for the actual coping skills.
Truth.
If you want the actual skills, just ask us.
Yeah.
Come to the lives and be like, hey, I want that list of coping skills.
I have an outline
The one you
for
never
a
gave.
zine of coping skills. but
Really?
It's been an outline for the past 2 years. And it's never gotten past that
We
point.
should share it and then we'll all add to it.
And then check
Wahaha.
out Cards Against Anxiety. That's another good set of cards for coping skills.
I need to get some of them for my,
It'd be
like
really
teaching.
good for teaching.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right. Well, then I'm going to let you do the outro since you didn't get to do your bringing us back or anything. So there you go.
okay. Well, we're gonna do both at the same time. What do you need to do before we go?
Oh, yes.
Take my meds.
Take your meds.
But
Drink
they're not here now.
or
No.
water.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Have a snack because you are a snack and you deserve it.
It's facts.
So do that.
And then do something nice for yourself.
Yeah. And take a break if you need it. You got it.
But until next time,
Yes.
be good
Be
to you.
kind to you.
Be good
kind
to others.
And
And
we'll
see
see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Unless you're blind, or we're blind. What if I go blind between now and then? Wouldn't that be weird?
That
would be weird.
Like, just gone.
Be like,
No
guys,
reason.
new symptom.